In this video, I'll take you through an exciting rebuild of LEGO's original NASA Apollo 11 lunar lander into this delightful classic space version. This turned out way better than I expected. It has a playful and detailed look to it that if you build this model too, you'll really appreciate and enjoy. And as an added bonus, this classic space lunar lander goes very well with the recently released Galaxy Explorer that you may already have in your collection or plan to buy and build. Before I show you the details and talk you through each of the modules of this build, if you like what you see in this video and you want to either convert your current NASA Apollo 11 lunar lander into this classic space version, or build this version as a separate standalone model, you certainly can. I've published step-by-step building instructions that are available to purchase on Rubricable, and on this page you'll find all the information that you need to know about this build, including the required parts. I've put a link to this page in the description of the video. I also need to acknowledge two people who helped make this project possible. The first is Dallin Powell. When I originally built his Cosmic Slingshot rocket earlier this year, I spotted on his Flickr profile that he had recolored the NASA Apollo 11 lunar lander in classic space colors in Studio and had published a digital render of his model online. I thought it looked amazing, so I reached out to Dallin to ask if he would be okay to collaborate on making this model a reality in LEGO form. He agreed and was kind enough to provide me with his initial studio model file, which gave me a superb base to work with to tune and produce instructions from. The second person that I'd like to acknowledge is a LEGO enthusiast who goes by the handle of Lem Fliggity. He published a series of mods for the LEGO NASA Apollo 11 lunar lander on Flickr that dramatically improve its accuracy to the real-world lunar lander. In particular, the front face of the command module of the standard LEGO design is not at all accurate when compared here to, say, a wireframe drawing of the real lunar lander. Lemfliggity's mods correct this and also cover a whole host of other improvements to the model. I was able to factor in many of Lemfliggity's improvements to my final classic space version of the lander, and also made many adjustments to the design of my own to not only improve it visually, but also to ensure that the color scheme and details of the model are on point for what we would expect of a classic space-themed LEGO model. In terms of the build and modules, the base I've left unchanged. You can use your original LEGO design base or build another one from parts, following LEGO's instructions. However, I have swapped out the flag for one showing the classic space logo, and I've used Benny and one other classic space minifigure as my key minifigures for this model. For the lander descent module, you'll need to either build a new one from scratch following my step-by-step instructions, or fully disassemble your original descent module and rebuild it following my instructions and using the additional parts that you'll need to order from Bricklink. I'm really happy with how this looks in the new colors. In addition to recoloring this module, I also made a lot of small adjustments and added in additional parts to fill in voids and missing details that the standard LEGO design model suffers from. This is particularly evident when looking at the underside. For the standard model, we can see a lack of detail and these ugly light tan parts showing through. Whereas for my rebuilt classic space version, I've cleaned this all up to be color and detail consistent, and I've included the thruster housing here as inspired by Lemfliggity's mods. In a similar fashion for the command module, you need to build a new one using new parts, or optionally reusing some parts from the standard LEGO lander. For this module, I not only recolored it, but also, as I mentioned at the start of the video, essentially recrafted it to include Lemfliggity's mods, and I also made other changes that I thought appropriate to give this module that classic space feel, like the venting at the rear, alternate antenna details, and of course the inclusion of the wedge brick showing the classic space logo. Looking at this new classic space version side by side with the original LEGO lunar lander, I think the end result, as you can see, looks amazing, and in my opinion, the classic space version is the one that I want for my collection. I'd like to thank my friend Rachel for lending me her original LEGO NASA Apollo 11 lunar lander to help me show you the two lander versions side by side here in this scene. And once again, the classic space lander makes for a superb companion to the new Galaxy Explorer, which, as a side note, in my opinion, is a beautifully designed offering from LEGO, so well done to the LEGO group for designing and making available to us such a cool looking and well-crafted model. Well, I just cannot help but smile every time I look at this build. I'm incredibly happy with how this has turned out, I think if this is a project that you decide to take on, I think it's going to bring you a lot of joy as well as looking fantastic in your Lego collection. My thanks once again to Dallin for his support with this project, and a portion of any of the sales that I make from sales of the instructions will be going to Dallin in recognition for this originally being his idea. My thanks also to Lem Fliggity for providing some brilliant mod ideas, and there's very clear photos on Flickr that made it very easy for me to include his modifications in this classic space version of the Lunar lander. If you have any comments or questions about this build, of course, please leave them in the comment section below. If you have a question, I'm always happy to support you. That's actually all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Eagle, you're looking great. Coming up 9 minutes.
We're now in the approach phase. Everything looking good. Altitude 5,200
flight
feet.
Controllers, go for landing. Retro.
Go.
Fido.
Go.
Guidance.
Go.
Control.
Go.
Telcom.
Go.
GNC.
Go.
Ecom.
Roger,
Surgeon.
copy. Go.
Capcom, we're go for landing.
Altitude
Eagle,
4,200.
Houston, you're go for landing. Over. Roger, understand. Go for landing. 3,000 feet. Copy. Alarm. 1201. 1201. Roger, 1201.
1201 alarm.
Same type. We're go flight.
Okay, we're go.
We're go. Same type. We're go.
Flight Fido right on, real good.
2,000 feet. 2,000 feet. Into the ag. 47 degrees. Roger. 47
How's our
degrees.
margin looking, Bob?
It looks okay. We're
Okay.
about 4.5.
Roger.
1,400 feet. Still looking very good.
Roger, 1202. We copy it.
How you doing, Control?
35
We
degrees.
look good here, fine.
Roger. How about you,
35
Telcom?
degrees.
Go. Guidance, you happy?
Go.
Fido.
Coming down
Go.
to 23. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. APA at a descent. Mode control both auto. Descent engine command override off. Engine arm off. Port 13 is in.
We've had shutdown.
We copy you down, Eagle.
Okay, everybody,
Houston,
T1. Stand by for T1.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.